Hello viewers, welcome to my food channel. My name is Theo. Today we're going to treat a special Ghanaian food called waakye. And so join me as I help you to learn all about waakye. Waakye is just a Ghanaian food made of rice with some beans. So join me, I will help you know everything about it, okay? So first of all, we're going to need a few things which I'm going to walk you through. Then you will know. So first of all, we're going to need our rice, okay? Then we would also need our cooked beans. That is cooked beans, okay? Cooked beans. You need a cooked beans. So you cook the beans in a saucepan to soften it a little bit. And then we are also going to need fish, which we are going to fry later on, okay? And then you're going to need some spices to, spice up the fish. So this is blended ginger, onion, and then I added a little bit of curry with salt. I also added a little oil. Okay, so that is for our fish. And of course you can add some garlic, and then if you want, you can add any other spice that you want, and then mix it together. Okay. And then I also have my soya sauce that I'm going to use. Normally we use a leaf, but we don't have that leaf available now, so we are using soya sauce with a little twist, to give it that darkened feature that we are looking for in our waakye. And then of course we're going to need some oil for frying our fish also. Then if you are a salad lover, you are going to need some leaves, some lettuce, tomatoes, green pepper, carrots, onion, and then some cucumber, which you're going to cut up later to form the salad that you want to use. So let's get started with waakye. So first of all, you're going to need a saucepan, a big saucepan, to cook the rice. So first of all, you will need your saucepan, and then you're going to put in the cooked beans. Okay, you're going to put in your cooked beans. You can take as much as the beans that you prefer, okay? If you want it so much, you can take so much of it. It all depends on you. But of course, the beans should be proportional to the rice that you're going to cook. And then also, so you have it like this, okay? And then you add your rice, okay? You add your rice. And then you stir it up just to make sure that everything is in proportion. And then of course you're going to put in a few drops of the soya sauce. To give us that darkened feature that we are looking for in our special local cuisine that we call waakye. So you mix it up together, and then you put it on fire. Okay, put it on fire. And then of course you would have to add some salt to taste. So you add a little salt of your choice to taste. Yes. Then the final thing you have to do is to get some water. Okay, so you add just enough water to cook it to its perfection. Okay, just enough water will do. You don't need so much, but just a little to cover it and then cook the rice. The reason why I cooked the beans was, if you don't cook the beans before you put in the rice is going to cook faster than the beans. And so what you have to do is to cook the beans first and then make sure that it is somewhat soft before you put your rice in the beans, and then add some water to cook both the rice and then the beans again. Don't forget to add your soya sauce to make it dark, because that is what makes the whole thing interesting. So you realize that after cooking everything, this is the whole mixture that we have, our beans with our rice and then soya sauce together. Okay, so you put it on fire and then you cover it and then let it cook to perfection. So whilst your rice and beans is on fire, you can attend to the fish, and then what you're going to do is wash your hand nicely. Okay, wash your hand really nicely with some soap, making sure that your hand is clean. And then what you're going to do is to take your mixture of blended ginger, onion, curry, whatever spice that you want. Sometimes some people add garlic, it's okay. And then blend it together, added a little oil. What you're going to do is to smear the mixture on the fish, making sure that it enters everything. So you're going to smear it on the fish, inside out, making sure that the fish is well covered with the mixture that you have made. Well, some people just decide to use only salt, but I want my fish a little spicy, so I put in all the spices that I want. Of course, I know a lot of people also want their foods a little spicy, so you can add all the curry powder that you want, the ginger, salt mixed together, and then you smear it on the fish and then allow it to marinate. Okay, so that you can have the spices going in everywhere on the fish. Of course, you can use your knife to create some little patterns or deep cuttings on the fish, so that the spices will get into the fish a little better. You can marinate it for a little, let's say about 30 minutes or 1 hour, depending on how you want it, and then you can set it to frying. So that is how I treat my fish before I fry it. Okay, so after letting my fish marinate a little while in the sauce that I created, or the spicy solution that I created, what I'm going to do is to put another pan on fire for the frying. So I put that on fire, and then what I'm going to do is to put in my oil. Okay, I'm going to deep fry the fish, so I'll put some oil. I think enough oil to fry it, and then I will let it heat up a little bit before I put in my seasoned fish for it to fry. So whilst you put your oil in the pan and let it heat up a little bit, you'll be checking up on the rice to see, and then you stir it up a little bit. Okay, just to make sure that you have sufficient water to cook the rice to perfection. At this stage, I think my water is not sufficient enough, so I'll add just a little more, and then I will reduce the heat, and then it cooks gently. So after adding a little water and then stirring it, you reduce your heat, and then if you prefer, you're going to cover your food with some foil or rubber to make sure that the steam stays inside, and then cooks it till it is very soft. That notwithstanding, occasionally you have to visit your rice and then make sure that everything is okay. So I cover it after putting on my rubber and then reducing my heat to the barest minimum so that it can cook really well with the heat that comes or it produces. Okay, so you leave it. In the meantime, oil on the fire, I think it's okay. Now, if you want to prevent the fish from sticking under the pan that you are frying it in, you may coat it with a little how do you call it, flour if you want. If you don't want it to, you can fry it like that. So as you can see, I'm putting my fish inside the oil that is now hot, and then I will fry. So it is perfect for me. I usually like my fish to be a little bit crunchy, so I'll leave it in there for a little while. Then I will attend to it later. Okay, so you leave it for some time. So you leave it on the fire for some time. As you can see, it's frying. Okay, so you leave it there for some time and then make sure that everything is set before you take it out of the oil. Of course, it depends on how you want it. Okay, it all depends on how you want it. Whether you want it crunchy or however feeling that you want it. You just let it fry to that perfection before you take it out of the oil. So occasionally, of course, you would have to attend to your fish just to make sure that it is okay, while also monitoring your rice on the fire to make sure that everything is okay in that section as well. So I think the fish is on its course, the rice is also on its course. So you leave it on the fire for a little bit to cook on its own. So after a little while, what I'm going to do is to turn the fish to its other side, so that the other side also cooks. Okay. So that the other side also fries to perfection. So as you can see, I'm turning the fish in the oil just to make sure that every bit of it or every part of it is cooked to perfection. So turn it over in the oil for the other side to also fry really well. So after a little while, I attend to my rice and then try to make sure that everything is okay. So I'm going to stir it. Okay. Of course, occasional stirring is necessary to having a perfectly cooked waakye. Yes. Occasional stirring. Yeah, it's necessary just to make sure that every part of it is cooked really well. Otherwise, you have some of the rice not cooking really well, and then you're going to have to deal with it later, which wouldn't augur well for you. Okay, so as you can see, I've stirred it, and I think it's right on course. So I'm going to cover it back with my covering, and then leave it in there for a few more minutes for it to cook. Now you can see the fish is frying. Occasionally I come in to turn it just to make sure that it doesn't get burnt. Yeah, I really want my fish to fry to that crispy nature. That's why I put it on the fire for quite some time. If you don't want it to be that crunchy, then of course it all depends on you. So the number of minutes that the fish is going to spend in the oil entirely depends on you and then how you want it. So I want it to be a little crispy, so I've left it in the oil to fry for quite a longer period of time, just to make sure that I get what I want. So I'm attending to my fish now. I'm turning it one more time, then I'll take it out of the oil, because I think it is cooked now, fried to perfection, just the way I want it. So I'm turning just one more time, and I'm going to take it out of the oil. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for a few seconds, and then I'll take it out. Okay, so I'm going to take my fish out of the oil. Try to make sure that I drain everything out. I'm taking my fish out of the oil. Okay, so it is basically out of the oil now. Okay, so voila, that is our fried fish, just as perfect and just as the way I want it. Okay, so you set it aside whilst we wait for our waakye to cook, and then we'll attend to that. So just like I told you, occasional stirring of your waakye is very important. So at this time I've come back again to check on the rice, and then to stir it up a little bit, making sure that every part of it is cooked to perfection, because you are cooking two things together, beans and then the rice. So you will have to check on it quite often to make sure that everything is in order. Yeah, otherwise you may have some portion of the rice not cooking properly. So you cover it nicely with your covering again, or the rubber. If you have a foil, you can use that too, no problem. Just only to let the steam, the hot steam that is coming out of the food, cook the food rather than the heat that you have beneath it. Okay, so you reduce the fire to its barest minimum, and then you cover it, and then you allow the steam to do the rest of the job. So after letting your rice be on fire for quite some time, you check on it again, and voila, our rice is nicely cooked, as you can see. Yes, it's nicely cooked to perfection now. So I think, yeah, so as you can see, yeah, it's nicely cooked now and ready for eating. So of course we can serve it, and then also we have our fish ready, as you can see. So we just serve it and then add, of course we would have to prepare our salad or leaves that involves carrots, green pepper, onion, some cucumber, lettuce, and then we can add it to it, and then we'll add a hot spicy sauce that is also called shito, that is generally eaten with this kind of food. So our food is ready, and this is our prepared Ghanaian waakye with fried fish. Okay, so when I serve the food, you will all know what it is about to have waakye. Stay tuned. Okay, so viewers, our food is ready for serving. And so I'm going to serve it, as you can see. A little bit of waakye. Yes, I'm serving. Yes. Good. Then you're gonna have it with a little bit of macaroni. Yes, or spaghetti. Macaroni or spaghetti. Come the other way. Yes, you have it like that. And then, of course, just like I told you, you will have a bit of your salad. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit of your salad. Yes. Yes. A little bit of your salad. Yes, so you will have your food as this. Okay, so we are going to add our fish to it. Yeah, so you add your fish to it. Okay, so after adding your fish, you're going to add a little bit of your hot spicy pepper I was talking to you about earlier on. This one I'm going to treat later in my subsequent videos that I'm going to make. The hot spicy pepper, we call it shito. You add it to it and your food is really going to be great. Okay, so you have your hot spicy pepper in here, your leaves somewhere here, salad, then you have your macaroni, then you have your waakye. So I bet you it's gonna taste really good. Okay, so let me just set it on the table, and then I'll give you the aerial view of the whole food, then you know how it goes like. So guys, this is the aerial view of the whole food that I'm talking about. You have it like this, and I bet it is really delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna call my brother Joe, who is gonna be the testing officer for us. He's gonna be the testing officer for us to come and then test it. Then of course he's going to attest to the fact that it really tastes good. So yeah, Joe is here to taste it. Yeah, I said it right before for him to taste. How do you see the food?
Hello viewers. I know I'm here to test it, and I know it's gonna be a very nice meal.
Yeah, it looks yummy, right?
Yeah. I think it's whetting my appetite.
So why don't you take a bite and tell viewers how it tastes?
Okay, let's see. Okay.
How's it going?
Splendid.
It's been a long time you had some, huh?
Right from Ghana to
Okay, viewers, so that was my video for you today. Later on we're going to bring subsequent foods that I'm going to prepare. Later on I'll give you more highlights on various foods that I'm going to prepare. You can see Joe enjoying in the background. So join me in my next video as I give you more on other foods as well. Of course, I'm in Turkey, so I'm going to give you some treat with Turkish foods as well. Okay, so stay tuned to my channel.
We can't wait to see that.
and then subscribe, and then also visit my website. Of course, I'm going to put the description or the ingredients and then the process for preparing this special food in the description below. So when you see this video, you can look below it in the link, and then you can visit my website, as well as look at the ways and then processes in which you can also have a delicious and sumptuous meal like Joe is having now.
Yeah.
Okay?
What
All right,
special.
so see you later. Okay, bye-bye.